Hello, everybody. I'm Mike Moore from RocketLife, and it's a pleasure to be here. I think Alexi and everybody's done a great job of pulling it together in this environment. It's really hard to do. And it's been very interesting to see all the different technologies and the debates and the discussions that people have had. At RocketLife, as you've known and followed us, you see that we've always focused on trying to take the most complex things and bring them down to a lower level. And if you trace back our history in terms of our roots, you'll find that that's the thing that we always do. We believe in trying to create access for places that we've been. Traditionally, I get up here and I show all kinds of technology really fast, and I think that it gets missed often. And so I'm going to try a little bit of a different approach this time and not get into a lot of the technology, but to show some parts of it just so that you can get an idea of the things that we're currently doing. I actually want to start with a different one. As I said before, we focused on taking the desktop experience, making it similar to the online experience, as well as joining the kiosk experience so that they're all the same. Well, we believe that consumers only really want to learn one thing once. So this is the desktop experience and what it looks like. And you can see we have a catalog of products. And the catalog can be dynamic based on fulfiller. We have a complete back office system that, if you're interested, we can get into that. But one of the things that I wanted to show really quick is just really how easy it is to make a book. We hear people talk all the time about the complexities, abandoning, not sure what they want to do. And I recognize that some people want to spend extra amount of time playing with their photos. And the interesting thing that we have found over the years is that consumers generally can think of 5 or 10 photos that are their favorite photos at that moment in time. When they have to think about 30, 50, or 100, it starts to become overwhelming, and they have a hard time figuring out how to get started. So our approach is really to sort of help them. Let them pick a group of photos, be it a directory, and then load it in and let us go ahead and subdivide and turn that into something that's as close as a product as possible, given what we can figure out from what they've done with their images. I'm just going to go ahead and click through this really quick and finish the book. So there it is, going through and subdividing and figuring out which photos it wants to put together. It leads them through, add a title if they want, and they can make this a complete free-form experience if they'd like to do that. But in this case, this was actually Sarah's photos on a trip to Spain, and she's just, has this huge collection of photos that she's put together, and it's gone through, and it's sort of created a book. And now she can go back and do simple things like add text and titles and so forth to it. What we've tried to do at RocketLife is create a, well, we see it as sort of an image operating system. And that sounds really complex and scary, but the bottom line is that we have to tie all these pieces together. And things that we've heard in these other sessions is that it's not common for tying that together. So we've created several interfaces that allow us to work through and make it possible to, sorry about that, make it possible to connect all the ends together. So what's new with RocketLife right now is we have a Mac client that's functional, has a few bugs, but it's very, very close to being released, and we're very excited about that. The new online expression, we've integrated the workflow changes over the last 3 years, and working with some of our largest retailers, added those features in to do some experimentation. New desktop, new kiosk. We have an expanded image gateway. Now, one of the things that we've heard here and we've heard from our customers is that people want access to their images regardless of where they're at. We've always had the images available to them on their computer, their cameras, and locally, so we've added an image gateway that gives you access to PhotoBucket, Flickr, almost any place that you would like to have it. Fanfare, SmugMug. You just log in and your images are now available within RocketLife to use any way you want. We've expanded the themes and new workflows so that we can look after some specialized markets. We have certain pro photographers that do sits and things like that, and they have a different workflow that they want. And one thing that we have found that made a really big difference was when the photographer shows the customer the interface with their pictures in it, shows them how to hit a couple buttons and make products, it increased the sales and the comeback rates really quick to that photographer's store. And they were very anxious to go home and try building these products themselves after they were shown. Very simple. And so we're seeing a number of different things. The other thing that we've also seen is that professional merchandisers are also making a difference in how products are sold. We used to think that price was really kind of an important consideration, and we thought it was not a consideration at all, and we thought you could throw this and that together. And what we found is that when professional merchandisers package things together in a price-value relationship, that it increased sales. So if you do the free promo book, for example, you're not going to sell high-end products because it devalues the high-end product, or at least that's what it's shown. When you do simple products that take 4 or 5 images and you put them on a mug, the buy rate for our $100 books went up by 30%. So we saw a direct correlation to merchandising and showing. So we do have a lot of other exciting things that are going on. We have a marketplace coming second quarter where people can share their projects, completed projects, as well as the raw materials, allow people to edit and change certain parts or do nothing at all except for purchase. We're excited about that, so as our other retailers. Digital rights management gets into the licensed content area. You know that we guys have been keen on theme creation and theme technology versus template technology and the costs and a CRM mechanism. So let me jump really quickly into this cost pain thing. Most of us do not really recognize pain until we're forced to deal with the problem, and content creation is a problem. It's a very expensive problem, especially when it's being used in the template technology where every template has to be created for each size object. And when you start getting into that area, you can spend a considerable amount of money to do it. RocketLife's solution was to build an engine that was aspect independent, and it could resize things and make rule decisions based on the content and the things that you want to describe. And I've demonstrated that to you in the past, and you're welcome to come out here and see it, but it becomes very critical in terms of being able to allow a customer to be able to touch and modify a product using a third-party licensed content where they have rules about their usage of their content. A lot of times their rules can range from do not overlap, it has to be a certain percentage of the size. If you're going to allow text on there, you have to do obscenity and profanity filters. You have to protect our brand and our brand features and so on and so forth. And we have several mechanisms that work through our whole chain of production that will follow the rule set that's established by those third-party creators, all the way to the point where it can flag for a visual inspection at the production facility before it's released. Again, if you look at these costs, it gets pretty expensive. If you create one theme in RocketLife, it goes on any product you make. If you add a product 10 years from now, it will work on that product, and you never have to touch that theme again. Templates always have to be adjusted for size, bleed, whoever the manufacturer is, and so forth. And it gets very, very expensive to start replicating those templates on lots of different products. I don't even like to talk about that number because it's a really big number. It's more than $1 million when you compare that to RocketLife and their themes. We have over 200 themes, and there's no way my company could afford it to build that many themes at those costs. We're just so fortunate that you just create one and make it work. So as I was saying, in terms of the licensed content, what we found, and I'm going to make it really quick, is that the licensed content people want to put their products in front of other people. We've added another element to all of our experiences, which is, let's see if I can get to it. Go back to the catalog, which is the product is a print-at-home component to this. What we have found is people need to be able to use this software, create valuable things, and print it at home, and we have a number of driving factors behind the print at home. But with our digital rights management software, a third-party licensor can make available a limited number of copies for print at home of a particular licensed object. So let's say it's a Spider-Man or a Mickey Mouse, and they grant a 10 unit or 10 print license for them to get to use, because they recognize that a brand in front of a customer makes it a brand that becomes continuously important to them. If they print out 5 things and then they want to do a birthday card for another 15, our commerce system will let them buy a certificate for another 15 license uses of those prints. So this way we can monetize back up the chain to the third-party content providers. We have a distribution mechanism because of the installed base of RocketLife and the proliferation of RocketLife itself through our resellers and our retailers.